This is the Barbados Today morning news for Tuesday, June 6. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. As the curtains come down on BMEX 2017, Prime Minister Freundel Stuart says young entrepreneurs are leading the revival of the manufacturing sector. Stuart was at the time visiting the annual Manufacturing Expo BMEX at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre on the weekend.
On what I am seeing here at BMEX this year and what I saw last year, and certainly over the last 2 years, it is clear to me that we are rebuilding the manufacturing sector along different lines, and that with the passage of time, we are going to see a robust manufacturing sector in Barbados that will be contributing much more to national output and contributing to Barbados' earning increasing amounts of foreign exchange. So I really want to say I'm very proud with what I've seen so far. I'm going to be doing some more looking around, but I think that the investment we've made in education, in our human capital, is beginning to bear fruit, and that is something to be very pleased about.
During his visit to BMEX, Prime Minister Stuart also suggested that government may review the 2% levy on foreign exchange transactions. His statement came on the heels of much criticism of the new tax from the opposition, the business community, as well as Commerce Minister Don Villinis. One exhibitor, Stephen Mark of Protoplastics Barbados, says his company is taking a wait-and-see approach to the tax.
Whatever the government does, we have to abide by. No matter what my feelings are about it, that is what it is, and we will have to live with that. From a business perspective, it obviously increases prices because we now have to increase. That 2% is going to affect our import price, because that is on the total bill of our imports. So that will affect our import price, which is going to multiply when we have to then cover our costs and put on our markup. So that's what it is. It's a little unfortunate, but I understand the situation in Barbados, and if it needs to be done and that's what they deem, that's what we have to do.
Meanwhile, some of the exhibitors told Barbados Today the public's participation this year did not meet their expectations.
I wasn't here on Friday, but on Saturday and through till today, it has been great. I have enjoyed it. I mean, a lot of persons have given us a lot of encouraging advice, and they, like I said, they love the glasses.
This year I find that everything's a little low-key in terms of patrons passing through, and I find that they like the products, but they are not like spending like they used to a couple years ago. I don't know if it has anything to do with the drop in the rates of the economy, or I don't know.
It's not as good as previous years. Yeah, definitely. It's a kind of lower than, yeah.
What do you think is the reason?
I really can't say what's the reason, but definitely you can see it, you can feel it, It's quite not the same.
In other news this morning, Labour Minister Dr Esther Byer-Suckoo is on a mission to clamp down on the amount of sick leave being prescribed by local medical practitioners. Dr Byer-Suckoo told a church service to mark the 50th anniversary of the National Insurance Scheme that the NIS paid out $24 million in sick leave claims at the end of last year. She says her ministry has begun discussions with the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners to sensitize the medical profession to the impact of prescribing sick leave when other options could be just as effective. She also advised Barbadians to adopt healthier lifestyles to reduce NCDs, which she suggests contributes to the amount of sick leave claims being processed by the NIS. And with the hurricane season now underway, Barbadians are on alert for any natural disaster that may strike, but they are also being advised to take precautions against personal disasters. The caution comes from Canon Coleridge Darlington of the St. Thomas Parish Church as he delivered the sermon on the first Sunday of this year's hurricane season.
As we begin the season, the hurricane season, the one that we most expect calamities from, but you can have a tsunami, we can have an earthquake, we can have any number of things. But you have come that you may ask God to bless and spare us, but more than this, that God may equip you and make you ready and earnest, that you can use your skills and your talents together so that you can assist and relate to any disaster that may happen. But disasters don't only happen, my friends, in land and on sea and to the house when the wind blows off the roof and so on. In our living, we are faced with our personal disasters. In our living, there are times when we are crippled, as it were, by events and circumstances that occur in our lives. And we feel as though our heads have blown off because we are not sure how to cope and what to do about the circumstances that surround us.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Get your yams and potatoes. Wait, my girl, how you want to for long?
I can't. How you keeping? But you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper is selling. This month now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have made a little dollar on the Sunday sun. But when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday sun no more. You gotta call that Sunset News. Cause at no time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read, and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she does read Barbados Today online for free. I can't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, if pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yams?
Oh, 75 cents a pound.
But that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
£1.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back now with news from the region. Disaster preparedness officials are concerned that the Caribbean may be affected by the U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement. U.S. President Donald Trump made the announcement last week, and Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, Ronald Jackson, says the Caribbean remains one of the most vulnerable regions to climate change.
The Caribbean small island developing states, like the Pacific small island developing states, are going to be the ones who will suffer most. A lot of them are quite low-lying. They are sand spits in a sense. When you look at some of the smaller states, there are already challenges in terms of the land space for development for some of those island atolls with very narrow coastal areas for development, and which is challenging some of what you're seeing in like Dominica and other countries. So if you're losing more coastal space, then you're impacting on your developable space. And so therefore, it's not necessarily near term in that regard, but it is going to impact at some point, because we're already seeing sea level rise impacting in some of the other areas, and you've heard the dialogue around losses and damage. Losses, slow moving, creeping impact of climate change, which is already beginning to represent itself within the small island developing states community of the Caribbean and the Pacific.
And on the international scene, the U.S. Department of Justice has charged a federal contractor with sending classified material to a news organization. This marks one of the first concrete efforts by the Trump administration to crack down on leaks to the media. 25-year-old Reality Lee winner was charged on Monday with removing classified material from a government facility in the state of Georgia. The Justice Department says she was arrested on June 3rd. The charges were announced less than an hour after the news organization The Intercept published a top-secret document from the U.S. National Security Agency that described Russian efforts to launch cyber attacks on at least one U.S. voting software supplier and send spear phishing emails to more than 100 local election officials days before last November's election. The Justice Department declined to comment on the case beyond its filing. That's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Mary Claire Williams. Good morning.